Hi everyone, I'm Carla Duenas, registered dietitian with Baptist Health South Florida. Welcome to Mind Body Social's Week of Wellness, sponsored by Baptist Health. We are here in Homestead at beautiful Tines Farms, and we're going to be talking today about the power of plant-based diets. We want to thank first to Body Armor for keeping us hydrated, Baptist Health for all of their support, Vegan Cuban Cuisine for their amazing croquetas, and of course, Tines Farm for hosting us. Let's get started. Welcome back. We are here with Liz, co-founder of Vegan Cuban Cuisine here in Miami. We're here to talk about the power of plants. Her restaurant is fully vegan and, believe it or not, all Cuban. So it's definitely interesting. We're going to be talking about, first of all, what is plant-based eating, which is really, as a dietitian, the number one question I get is, what is plant-based eating and how do I start? So Liz, tell us a little bit about your journey. What does plant-based eating mean to you?
So for me, plant-based eating is a diet base where you mostly eat plants. You try to consume as many vegetables, as many fruits as possible, and you keep the animal protein and animal products away from your plate as much as you can. That's how I would define it.
Yeah. So there's no formal definition. The best way that I describe it really is like a spectrum. So you have full animal eating here on the end of the spectrum, omnivore. You know, your typical Cuban diet, right? Vaca frita, the croquetas, all of that. And then you have maybe pescatarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian with, they only consume dairy, but they restrict all of the other animal proteins. And then all the way down here in this end of the spectrum is your full vegan, which is really the most restrictive type of plant-based eating. But as you can see, it's really a spectrum from full-on omnivore, so eating a lot of animal food sources, to vegan, right? There are many steps in between. It definitely is a lifestyle, a lot of people would argue, and there are health benefits associated with, in general, plant-based eating. However, a common misconception that I get is that people think that they have to be vegan to start to see some of the health benefits, and that's a myth. As long as you start to eat more plants, more fruits, more vegetables, more whole grains, right? Which we know it's not part of the standard Hispanic diet. We do consume a lot of chicken, a lot of meat, a lot of turkey, and the other catch too is how often do we eat vegetables in that plate?
Never,
right? Most kids don't grow up eating vegetables, and that's part of what we're trying to change. In restaurants like Liz, which are fully vegan, you won't see any type of animal food sources in her restaurant, right? But a lot of vegetable use, right? A lot of
vegetables, lots of fruits,
a lot of plant sources of protein as well, which is the main thing. I think people really struggle when they're thinking about their plate. They're used to seeing meat half of the plate, but what happens when you're trying to make this change of all of a sudden you have to eat beans, which we have a beautiful display here. Beans they count not only as carbs, as a source of carbohydrate, whole grains, they do have fiber, but they also have protein. So I asked you, the last time that you ate, for example, rice, beans, and maybe chicken, those were already two sources of protein that we can start to cut back a little bit there. Just those simple changes are what leads to that health outcome, because we were talking earlier and Liz told me that the first side effect that she felt from making this lifestyle change was what?
That I had a lot of reduction on my joint pain, a lot of energy. Energy was the main
number one. And I can tell you as a dietitian that all of the fruits and vegetables have so many vitamins that we underestimate. They have so much power. They play a role in our energy metabolism. So of course, as soon as you start to cut back the intake of animal protein, but also increasing the fruits and vegetables, that's when we start to see that beneficial, boost in energy. We start to feel better. We know that in general, plant-based eating, the diet lifestyle can help prevent things like heart disease, diabetes, even different types of cancer. So it does have a lot of positive effects, but we do have to make those, it's a skill. So start to make that change. One of the number one tips that I would give people is not make any drastic changes. I see a lot of people wanting to all of a sudden switch and become fully vegan. They went from eating chicken vaca frita, your vaca frita, a lot of croquetas and ham and everything, to just salads. And when you ask them, they don't even like vegetables. So, which, by the way, I have seen vegans not eating vegetables. You know how that happens? They eat a lot of just rice, potatoes, French fries,
yeah, a lot of-
which is also not a healthy diet. So keep that in mind that plant-based diets are not always healthy.
It's a balance.
It's definitely a balance, and it's a matter of adding more plant sources of food more than the restricting of the animals. But that's my number one tip, is just start small. Ask yourself at the next family dinner, if you're having rice and beans and chicken or with meat, how can you just cut back on the serving size, the portion size, and eat more of some of these great foods that we have here, the beans, the seeds like chia seeds, flax seeds. All those foods are excellent sources of protein that keep us satisfied. And it has so many benefits for your blood sugar, for lowering cholesterol even. I mean, we can go on and on here about the health effects, but I want to get to the bulk of this, which is, I know that Liz has brought some croquetas, some vegan croquetas.
So I heard
let's see
you've been
those.
wanting to try them, and then so I brought them for you.
Yes.
So our ham croquetas, they are made with cashew cream that we make in-house. Vegan ham that it's made with organic soy, not genetically modified. And then we add the Cuban spices, the breading. You can have them baked if you want to, but we also offer the fried option for people who want to have it more traditional.
Which is great, because if you're baking it, you are reducing the amount of fat and also the type of unhealthy fat that we know affects your heart health, basically. It can increase your risk for heart disease, but by baking it, you're cutting back on that, so it's great. And the cashew cream makes it very creamy as well,
really
right?
creamy,
It keeps it all together. So let me see, should I be the judge of this?
You should. It's pretty soft inside.
I have to say, the texture is on point. It's really good. Thank you so much, Liz. So I know that this is one of your customers' favorites, right?
Yeah, this is one of them. But we also have a lot of people are very attracted to our Cubano sandwich because we make it with jackfruit. Many people don't want to eat like the pork, and that's one of our best sellers, the Cubano and the croquetas. People love them.
There you go, guys. You have to check it out. The Cubano and the croqueta, a reason to stop by and visit Vegan Cuban Cuisine.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you learned something. I hope we motivated you to make a step in the healthier direction when it comes to eating just more plant foods. Whatever it is, just eating more plant foods, it's definitely the way to go. So I want to thank, of course, Vegan Cuban Cuisine.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Also, Tines Farm for hosting us, Mind Body Social for bringing us all together, and of course, Body Armor for keeping us hydrated today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.